In this session, we will see about the lytic cycle of virulent bacteriophages. So, every time they infect the bacteria, it always ends with the lysis of the host cell. For any bacterial infection, we will have 5 steps, that is attachment, penetration, transcription, assembly, and then release. So, the first step is the attachment or the adsorption. In this step, the virus is attached to the host cell. In this step, the tip of the virus tail, it will become attached to the cell through specific receptor sites on the cell surface. So attachment is specific for certain viruses, and the bacteria, that is the susceptible bacteria, will have complementary receptor sites for these attachment sites on the bacteriophage. So this receptor on the host cell can be the lipopolysaccharide or some other receptors like flagella, pili, the carbohydrates and the proteins on the membranes of the cell wall. All of these can act as receptors for the bacteriophages. So when the tip of the tail fibers attach first to the cell surface, that attachment is reversible, that is the phage can be soon washed away. So the initial adsorption will be reversible, but soon it will become irreversible when the tail pins attach. Okay, so when the tail fibers first attach, it is an reversible adsorption, but when the tail fibers attach, it becomes irreversible. So in the case of the T4 phage, T even phage, T4 phage, the attachment begins when the tail fiber contact with the appropriate receptor on the E. coli, okay, on the E. coli cell surface. When more and more tail fibers make contact with this receptor, what happens is that the base plate will settle down on the surface of the bacterium, and this binding is due to the electrostatic interaction, and it is influenced by pH and the presence of ions such as Mg2+ and Ca2+, that is magnesium and calcium ion. So in the first step, the bacteriophage will land on the surface, only the tail fibers will be attached. As more and more tail fibers attach, the tail will the base plate will attach to the surface. Once the base plate attaches, the tail will contract and it will release the genetic material. So that is the first step. The second step is penetration. Penetration means the genetic material should be released into the cell. Only the genetic material enters the cell, not the whole capsid will enter. The capsid will remain on the surface as ghost. So it is called as ghost. Only the capsid will remain on the bacterial surface. The rest, what is the genetic material, that only will enter into the cell. So the penetration is mechanical, but it can also be facilitated by the digestion of certain cell surface structure by the phage enzymes, that is lysozyme, that is carried on the tail of the phage, or by the viral activation of host degradative enzymes. So by either of these methods, penetration can happen. So actually it is mechanical, but sometimes it can be facilitated by the lysozyme enzyme that is carried on the tail of the bacteriophages. They will digest the cell surface, or it can also be by the activation, the viral activation of host degradative enzymes. In the case of T-even phages, the penetration is achieved through a series of steps. In the first step, the tail fibers of the virus, they attach to the cell surface, and they hold the tail firmly against the cell wall, and the sheath will contract, and it will through this contraction it will drive the tail core into the cell through the cell wall and membrane, and then the virus injects the DNA into the cell. That is like a syringe, like the syringe injecting the medicine into the body. Okay, so just as a syringe injects a medicine, only the bacteriophage inject the DNA into the host cell. So what happens, first the tail fibers will attach, and then the sheath will contract, and this contraction will drive the DNA into the cell. The rest of the protein coat and the capsid and the phage head and all, they will remain on the surface of the cell. That is, they will not enter, only the DNA will enter. In phages like T1 and T5, they do not have a contractile sheath surrounding the tail, but they also inject the nucleic acid through the cell envelope through the adhesion sites between the inner and outer membranes. So sheath contraction, that step is not a prerequisite for phage infection. In the case of T1 phages that happens, but in the case of T1 and T5 phages that do not happen. Okay, then the filamentous and the rod shaped DNA phages like the FT phage and the M13 phages, they enter the host cell just like animal viruses entering the host cell. That is, they enter as discrete virions. After penetration comes transcription. In the case of the T4 phage, the transcription occur in several stages. There are several stages, and they form immediate, early, delayed early, and late gene product. They are named so based on their time of appearance. Okay. So after this phage DNA has entered into the host cell, the bacterial mRNA and bacterial proteins stop synthesizing. This bacterial DNA will be quickly degraded into small fragments, and the nuclear region of the bacterium is dispersed. Some of the phage mRNA is made immediately after the infection. After some time, you can see the amount of phage DNA increasing. Okay. Virion specific proteins appear later, and followed by the appearance of organized capsid precursors and formation of mature infectious capsid. These all happen a little bit after the infection. Before that, immediate early phage genes are transcribed. Okay, and they are transcribed using the bacterial RNA polymerase. So in this immediate early phage genes, they code for genes like for nucleases. They code for nucleases that help in the breakdown of host DNA, and once this host DNA is breakdown, nucleotides are available for the phage DNA synthesis. So that is one of the early genes that is transcribed, and also some enzymes are also transcribed that can alter the bacterial RNA polymerase so that they will transcribe the delayed early genes. In the delayed early genes, they code for phage enzymes, and these phage enzymes will modify the phage DNA, like 5-hydroxymethyl cytosines are added instead of the cytosine in bacterial DNA. Then they glycosylate the nucleotides, or they destroy the precursors of cytosines, deoxynucleotides, so that no bacterial cytosine will be incorporated into the phage DNA. So that is the function of delayed early genes. They code for phage enzymes which produce unique phage DNA constituents such as the 5-hydroxymethyl cytosines, and they glycosylate the nucleotides, and they also destroy the precursors of cytosine deoxynucleotides so that no bacterial cytosine is incorporated into the phage DNA. So due to these delayed early genes, the phage DNA They can survive because the bacterial restriction enzymes or the nucleases, they cannot degrade phage DNA that is modified by these things, like they are modified by the substitution of 5-hydroxymethyl-cytosine for cytosine and by glycosylation of the substituted bases. So the bacterial restriction enzymes cannot degrade all these things, so it will help in the survival of the phage DNA. And also a phage nuclease is present that will destroy any DNA that has unsubstituted cytosine. The delayed early genes also code for polymerases and ligases. They will help in DNA replication and recombination, and also they code for RNA polymerase that help in transcribing the late genes. In the late gene products, they include the structural components, that is the head, tail, fibers, all these things are made, and they also include the phage lysozyme. Phage lysozyme is an endolysin, and they will help in lysing the bacterial cell and the release of the mature virions. So in the late gene products, mainly the phage components, that is the phage structural components are made, and also a phage lysozyme is made, which help in the release of the mature virions. Next is the last step, that is the assembly and release of mature virions. Only after synthesis of the structural proteins and the nucleic acid, the phage will begin to assemble into mature phage particles. In the case of T4 phages, about after 25 minutes after the initial infection, 200 new bacteriophages will be made, and they will be assembled, and the bacterial cell will burst. Burst means they will lyse and they will release the new phages, and these new phages will infect other bacterial cells, and the cycle continues. The late mRNA products, they include the phage structural proteins and also the proteins that help in phage assembly, but they will not become the part of the virion, and also proteins that is involved in the cell lysis and release. These proteins are used in 4 independent subassembly lines. We'll discuss that. First one is the DNA packaging. So DNA packaging within T4, it is accomplished by a complex of protein called pacosome, and this pacosome helps in the packing of DNA inside the capsule. This pacosome, they include a set of proteins called the terminase complex. The terminase complex will generate double-stranded ends at the ends of the viral genome. Okay, and these double-stranded ends are needed for packaging the T4 genome. After this double-stranded ends are created in the viral genome, the pacosome then moves the viral genome into the head. After the virion is assembled, they are released by lysing the cell. So this lysis is accomplished by 2 proteins. The first one is called holin, okay, and this holin creates hole in the E. coli's plasma membrane. The second enzyme is termed the T4 lysozyme, and they will degrade the peptidoglycan in the host cell's wall. So the activity of holin will enable the T4 lysozyme to move from cytoplasm to the peptidoglycan, so that both the plasma membrane and the cell wall, they are destroyed. So in the release of the mature virion, there are 2 proteins, holin and T4 lysozyme. Holin creates holes in the E. coli plasma membrane, and they also enable the T4 lysozyme to move from the cytoplasm. And the lysozyme, they will degrade the peptidoglycan of the host cell's wall. So both the plasma membrane and the cell wall, they are destroyed, and the mature virions are released. So this is the cycle. So after the T4 phage infection on the E. coli, so the time is also specified in here. The first step is the DNA injection, and in the DNA injection, early mRNA is made, and after the early mRNA is made, the host DNA is also degraded. Then the phage DNA is replicated. Then the late mRNA is made. Then the late gene products, that is the head, tails, etc., are made. Then the heads are filled with the genome, and then the virions, mature virions, are formed, and then host cell will lyse. The below image is the electron micrograph of a E. coli infected with phage. So you can see the phage capsids, that small hexagon shaped capsids inside the cell. So that is all about the lytic cycle. Okay, the adsorption, penetration, transcription, assembly, and then finally release, the 5 steps.